Hi, this is Trinisha Cottrell, and today I wanted to talk about verified. So, I touched on verification last video a little, and I really wanted to just take this moment and take this video to go over verification. Because sometimes you will hear people say things like, God told me, or people will prophesy over your life, or you will feel like you're prophesying over your own life, or that you've heard from God, or whatever else. And I think it's so important to verify not only what other people are telling you, but to verify the word, because sometimes we could think it's God, but it could be Satan. Sometimes we could think it's God, but it could be one of the enemy's minions trying to distract us from our purpose. And so, we really need to figure out whether this person, place, or thing is of God, or is it of the world, or is it of Satan. Like, we really have to figure out and verify that this is indeed God. We can't just allow our own emotion to guide us wanting or needing something in our life, wanting something in our life. We really have to check with God and make sure that this is exactly God. This is nothing but God. If and a good way to verify this is to have sound biblical scripture to back up whatever it is that you're being guided to, or whatever it is that you've heard is yours, or whatever dream it is that you've had that you feel like is God. If you can find biblical scripture that backs up your claim or backs up your thought, your dream, your whatever it is that someone prophesied over you, then it is so. Usually when it's not God, this is just my opinion. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on this. But in my opinion, when it's God, it's not confusing. It's not something that's conflicting with your spirit. It's not something that makes you feel like you're all over the place. It's something that gives you content. And don't confuse that with, like, I had this one time in my life where God introduced this person into my life. Well, I, some kind of way, let's not say God, but some kind of way, I ran into this person in my life. And they seemed to be amazing. They seemed to be cool. They seemed to be smart. They seemed to be all of the things. And I had so much trouble. I'm just being honest because I'm a baby Christian. I really had so much trouble discerning if it was God or if it was Satan trying to distract me. The whole time I was in my mind, the whole time I felt like I couldn't enjoy just being in the moment. I couldn't enjoy getting to know that person. I couldn't enjoy who that person was or let them enjoy the person that I was. All I could think about was, I don't want to mess up again. I don't want to get into another relationship that's not good for me. I don't want to get to know any person that's going to be a waste of time. I don't want to be vulnerable with someone who's not even going to be around that long, you know? And so, like, the whole time, instead of me being able to discern whether this was God or not, I just felt like so conflicted. I mean, and it wasn't confliction because they were a bad person or because they meant me any ill will. It was just, I really just felt like, for me, emotionally, it was like, emotionally, I wanted this to be a thing. Emotionally, I wanted to be, around this person. Emotionally, I felt like this person was a good person. Emotionally, I just felt like, which is weird, right? Because you don't really know the person, which made me feel even more crazy. But, but it just felt like I just wanted to learn more. Like, I was intrigued. Like, I really just felt like I wanted to know more and more information, if that makes any sense. I don't know. Curiosity, whatever else you want to call it, but yes. And so so when it comes to women, I don't know if men go through this as well, but we tend to get emotional in certain instances in our life. So when something happens, we immediately jump the gun on a lot of a lot of different things that happen in our life, like whether it's a job or a relationship or whatever else. And I'm not saying that as a blanket statement for all women. I'm just saying because we do have more emotions. And I'm not saying because you've shielded your heart and blocked it and turned it ice cold because you've been hurt in the past that that means you're emotionless. That just means you're trying to protect yourself. I'm saying in general. Okay, so usually we are more emotional, whether we are guarded, not trying to be vulnerable, we've been hurt, we want to push people away, whatever it is, we still tend to be more emotional. Whether that emotion turns to anger or pain or sadness or happiness or whatever it is, we are still that. And so when we are in situations like this, usually we hear about like a job that's great, and the first thing we're thinking is we could just do all of these things, all of these things can happen, we could do this and this. We start planning. If you're like me and you're a planner, I start planning how I'm going to spend this money, or how I'm going to save this money, and where this money is going to go, how I'm going to use it, what my plans are for it, how I'm going to budget it, like everything. I just start like usually before I get the job, but sometimes I don't do that because I'm like, I don't want to like jinx it or anything, but whatever's God is not a jinx. It would be a blessing. And so I'm like, I wait. But most of the time before I get the job, I'm like calculating everything. This is where this can go. This can move over here. This is how much money I can save every month. This is how much money I will put towards spending. This is how, and so on and so forth. And I haven't even signed the offer letter yet. And I'm sitting there planning stuff. Like, this is in the past. I don't do this now. But emotionally, I just jumped right into it. I don't even know what's about to happen. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just one of them things. And one of those things. And so, so like the same thing with the relationship. When I was in my teens, hopefully no one is like, oh my gosh, like, how old are you? Listen, if you can't guess, then you probably just don't need to know. And it's just a blessing, okay? And so, so I am a teenager. And as a teenager, I'm just jumping into these relationships like face first, flat, flap right on the ground, Like, I'm not walking into anything. I'm not doing anything intentional. I'm not like really thinking like this is a decent human being. I'm really thinking like, oh my gosh, this person is cute. Oh my gosh, this person is blah. We have the same favorite color, like whatever little mundane thing it is that draws you to people as a teenager, because you're not thinking about the bills that's about to come when you're older. You're not thinking about, how you're going to do certain stuff and how you're going to move through life, because as a teenager, it's just all going to work out, because they tell you if you work hard, everything is just going to be yours. Like, and that's not how it works. You have to really be intentional in your life and work hard. You don't have to work yourself until you like are putting yourself in an early, stone. You really just have to be intentional with your life and have a focus and a goal set for what it is that you're planning on doing with your life. But at that time, I'm not thinking about that. I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, this person is cute, and I'm just jumping into relationships. And I really just motions first, right, face first, right into it, just like as if I didn't have to plan anything, or as if I didn't have to have intentionality when I was that young. But I really wish that a lot of young women would be intentional with their lives, and men. But I mean, that's too young for men to probably think like that, anyways. But for women, if we're going to be in a relationship, or if we're going to be like doing whatever it is that we're doing in our youth, then we probably should be more intentional, because we mature faster than men anyways. And I'm not saying that just because I'm trying to take a dig at men. I'm saying it because there's like studies and things that suggest that. Not that a study is whatever it is, not that a study is everything, but sorry. Whenever I'm doing these videos, it's like people are like, oh, I know she's doing something. Let me call her. Just kidding. No, but yeah, it's just that intentionality I really wish I would have had then. And it's really hard to, especially when you think something is from God, or God's giving you a word of something being for you. It's really hard to not think like, oh my gosh, like for me, I put a lot of pressure on myself. So the other person, I just, I don't know what I do with that person, what that person does, but for me, I drive myself crazy. Like, I legit will be like, I have to do this way. I have to be this. Oh my gosh, I said this sentence and I really should have said that. Oh, I wear my hair like this instead of wearing, like, it'll be ridiculous stuff that no one cares about. Like, I'm the only person that's thinking about these things. Like, oh, but if I laugh this way, like, who really cares if you laugh that way or not? Like, that's your laugh. Just stick with it. Like, just be yourself, relax, chill, just be cool, you know? And I really like am so in my head, like, not like the person themselves is just like being themselves, and I'm just like, oh, okay, it's cool, nice talking to them. And afterwards, I am like really beating myself up hard. Like, I really wish that I could pretend like I'm just so perfect and I just don't like have any issues, but I really do just, I'm so hard on myself sometimes. And you'll probably say, well, why aren't you that hard on other people or whatever else? I really didn't clip this on me, but it's okay. It'll be all right there. Anyways, but I really start thinking about how I talked, how I walked, what I wore, what my hair looked like. Like, did I say this way? Am I doing this way? Did I stick to my standards? Did I stick to my boundaries? Am I about to fall into another trap of like letting someone get over on me again? Am I going to be in another toxic relationship because I didn't say anything the one time that something bothered me? And now is this going to become like a bigger issue down the line? Like, if we actually get to know each other better. Like, I start thinking about all that stuff and putting so much pressure on me. Like, this is why I'm so hesitant to like step into anything, because for me, it really puts so much pressure on me. Like, I know people are like, it's really no big deal. Like, it's not a big deal to you because you're not me. like like I'm totally different than you. I really am super hard on myself, and I'm trying to be better at it. I'm trying to just allow myself to just be, just be. Like I am when I'm not talking to someone, or like I am when I'm just in my purpose and not thinking about anything else. And the moment like I get to know someone or I talk to someone, I am in my head hard. Like, when I'm having a conversation with that person, they just hear me being a normal person. I'm just like, oh, hey, how are you? Normal conversation, conversation flows, blah, blah, blah. Afterwards, I'm like, I should have said this way. I should have did this way. I should have did this way. I should have said this way. Like, I am like so extremely hard on myself. I just feel like, okay, I don't want to do it anymore. Like, like I give up. I'm gonna push this person away. I just can't do it. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna be in a space where I could be in a position where I'll ever feel comfortable. Just, feel like I'm really prepared. And I don't think that you ever could get prepared on your own. I think it's one of those things that you have to be in the field to do. So the only way I would be able to learn is if I'm actually in it, if I actually give someone a chance, if I actually do the things. But for me, it's so hard because all I can think about is all of the mistakes that I've made in the past and how I could ever prevent that from happening again. And even when like I'm not trying to mess up, I still mess up because I'm human. And so it's like me being comfortable with the fact that I'm going to mess up is one of the things that's the hardest things for me, because I'm never going to be perfect. I'm never going to do everything exactly 100% right. There might be some things that fall through the cracks, and it might not be my intention. The other person might think I'm completely gullible and just not smart. They might think whatever it is that they want to think about me, but that doesn't make me who I am. And I don't really care about, okay, I can't say I don't care about what other people think or say, because I do care about people's well-being. So I really need to stop saying that, but I do say that often. And so, but their opinion doesn't matter. What matters is what I'm thinking in my head, what I'm going through when I'm not around that person, when I am like really taking a moment to sit and think about the things that I want for my life. I'm thinking about my future. I'm thinking about my focus and me being in my destiny and my purpose. And when I think about other people, it makes me think about, I don't want to be distracted. I don't want to be outside of my purpose because this person came into my life. I don't want to be so sidetracked and distracted and just so unfocused that it just makes me into the person that I used to be, or it takes over my mind. It makes me belittle myself. It makes me shrink into this person that I don't want to be. It makes me feel like, okay, well, since I didn't do all of these things right, now this person is going to do these things, isn't going to, like, whatever. And like, there was this time that I said something, And I did ask a question, which don't ask the question that you don't want the answer to. But if you ever say that you don't like something about yourself, someone's going to bring that up and make it seem like they don't like that thing about you. Like, I always say that I like my hair in every style. There could be a person that says, "Oh no, I love your hair. I like your hair straight." Well, I'm gonna wear it curly because I wear my hair however I feel like it. Whatever is more easier for me to manage is what's gonna happen. So it doesn't matter what the other person thinks. But if I say, "Oh, I like my hair straight because it's easier to manage," and then they say, "Oh yeah, I don't like your hair curly," then I'm gonna be like, I mean, don't put your insecurities on me. Like, okay. But seriously, it's just one of them things. And I love my hair in every stage. I feel like I have to say that in every video because you see me wear braids or do other stuff with my hair. But I love my curly hair because my hair is nice and healthy. Like the ends have been trimmed since I got it straightened, and I got 4 to 5 inches cut off of my hair. Like my curls is popping. The shape just conforms to whatever it wants to. But I love my curly hair. I love my hair straight because I can just wrap it and go. Like I literally just go to bed, wrap it, and go. I like braids because in the morning I literally just I put a scarf on my head to go to bed and I take it off in the morning and it's done. Like I don't have to do anything else. I might have to do like some of this because I try not to when I do my braids, I don't like to pull on my edges because I don't know if you watched the video, but I put a lot of tension on my edges with wearing a lot of wigs because I just was too lazy to do my hair. I mean, just being real, I was too lazy to do my hair. And so I just felt like, let me just wear this straight hair wig all the time because then I don't have to do anything. And it was really pulling on my edges. Like my edges are starting to get thick again. Like you could finally see. But I mean, no one noticed because I always wore my hair down or in other ways, anyways. But I noticed. And so I care about what I think. And so I have been like doing like braided styles with like a little leave out because I don't want my edges to be pulled and I don't want to just keep breaking off my hair just because it's easier. Like sometimes in life the things that take the most work are worth the most. They're the things that you really should go for. Sometimes we just want it so easy. Like you'll see women do it. They want this girl that's just willing to just give them the bare, like accept the bare minimum and just be okay with it. Just be like, okay, do whatever you want. I'll accept it. Meanwhile, that girl is going to use them for all their money. That girl is just going to manipulate them and just be selfish and not really care about their well-being. While the girl who actually took the extra effort actually cares about your well-being. But that's neither here nor there. Just like for the guy, girls will be with this guy or put up with all this crap from this guy who's no good and just keep on giving him chance after chance after chance. Let the good guy mess up one time. All of a sudden, he's gone. He gets no more chances. It's like, hold up, we got to get this together because we're doing the most. But I really feel like it just has a lot to do with us doing our own personal work. Like, I need to be in a headspace. I need to be in a position in my life where I feel like I'm not going to be that hard on myself. So when I'm getting to know someone, regardless of what it is that they're doing, it won't like I usually don't care about what they do anyways. Like I care because I want them to be about that life. And also I care more about how I feel about myself. And when I let things go that really truly matter to me, it makes me feel more insecure. It makes me feel like crap. Like it doesn't feel good at all. It makes me feel like I don't honor myself or respect myself because I'm letting someone get away with something that they should never be able to get away with. Like when it comes to consistency and someone is inconsistent and I just settle for it, it diminishes my whole like me, my whole mind, body, and soul. Like it crushes my spirit. It drains the love and kindness that I have. It makes my heart feel like it needs to have a steel fence around it instead of a guard. It makes me feel like mentally I can't allow myself to even become vulnerable because this person doesn't respect me, if that makes any sense. And so instead of like it being like, okay, that person did that, it's okay. Like to me, I am so hard on myself. I will be like, Why didn't you do this way? Why didn't I do this way? I should have said this here. Now this person thinks that inconsistency is okay. Now we're never going to be together because this person will never respect me. Things like that is like what I'm going through with my own personal struggle. Like it has nothing to do with that person. That person's moved on, or they still there, whatever it is that they're doing. And I just am still like making sure that I'm trying to do the best that I can. And it's just so crazy because I'm trying to be kinder to myself, because they say love your enemy as you love yourself. I love myself, and I also need to stop being so hard on myself. Sometimes we are our own worst enemy. Like, if I could be a little kinder to myself, if I could be a little bit more graceful, a little bit more forgiving of the things that I do, I feel like I would be like 10 times better than what I am right now. And I know these are the things that I need to do to become a better person, to become a better woman, to become stronger, to be able to be in a position where God will be able to allow another person into my life, because he's not just going to give me one of his children so that I can crush their spirit or like ruin them or like have them in some kind of weird psychological warfare for no reason. Like, he's gonna want me to get it together. So so that's what I need to do. And so I just feel like if we all work on ourselves and we figure out what our weakness is, we can figure out how to become better in that area. And so for me, it's so hard to not be rough on myself because I have been through a lot. I have really put myself through a whole lot of things. And a lot of those things were just because of some childhood stuff and some other things that I went through that just made me feel like I needed to be miserable for the rest of my life. Like, this is just what I have to do to punish myself so that I don't ever get to be happy ever again. And I feel like I want to be happy now. And then a part of me still feels like, well, you remember when you did this, or you remember when you made a mistake here, or whatever else. And so I'm trying to just be more just considerate of the fact that I'm a human being and not a robot, and understand that I'm never going to do everything 100% perfect. I can strive for perfection, but I will never be perfect because God is the only one that is perfect. And if we remember that, even in times when we're getting ready, like I try to catch myself now when I'm getting ready to say something, like someone will say or do something, and I've been getting a little better at it. Like, people will try me, and I'll just be like, not today, not today. And then, the end. But like, can I always be that strong? No, because I'm a human. And sometimes, like, I will emote. Sometimes I will be in my feelings. Sometimes there will be things that I want that I don't need. Sometimes there will be people who come around who will be something that I want, but not something that God knows that I need for my life, especially in this period or whenever. Like, and God's not going to give me something that's not beneficial to the kingdom or that's not going to benefit me in any way. Like, why have someone there taking up space? It makes no sense. And so for me, though, it's harder for me because then I'm like, okay. And it's weird because in the instance, it's so funny because I guess because I've like trained. I say it like it's like a whole thing, like I gotta train for like some sort of battle, but it really is a spiritual, emotional, and psychological battle that you have to go through every day. Every day you have to put on your full armor of God, and you have to really be about that life. You have to really be about your word. You really have to be in prayer. You really have to have a relationship with God. You really have to be willing to sacrifice and be patient and obedient and all the things. And it is not always easy. It is not always easy. I'm trained up for like the people who I don't want anyways. I'm trained up for the people who are no good. Like, and I don't mean it like I'm trying to bash any person. I'm just saying, like, if we're not equally yoked, if they say something that's completely vulgar or disrespectful, obviously that's easy peasy. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to like someone who's a decent person, it's really hard for me to have those boundaries because I'm like, oh my gosh, like, It just makes my heart like want to melt, and then I feel like so weak. But then I have to remember that I gotta be about that life. And people are probably watching this like, okay, mm, mm, mm. I know, I get it. You obviously clicked on here because you know that my personality is like this. So hopefully I didn't scare too many people away with that statement. And God can continue to use me for his benefit. And if he says like don't post this, I'm gonna say I get it because you know that last comment was a little off. So I understand. And so really, I got about 25 minutes. I want to make some tea. So I am about to get off of here unless God moves something in my spirit because I really do have to get ready because I got to go into the office tomorrow. So I want to make sure that I'm prepared. I got enough sleep. I can do all the things that I need to do, exercise in the morning, blah, everything else. And I want to be on my strict sleep schedule so that I can make sure that I have my beauty rest and I'm up and energized and ready for the day without feeling like I'm dragging or whatever else. And so, in conclusion, when it comes to your life, make sure that you are verifying. Like when God gives you a sign, when you have a dream, when something else is happening in your life, don't just think, oh, God told me that this is the job for me. God told me this is the husband for me. Check the scripture. Verify with God. Have a close relationship with God. Pursue God so that God can show you that this is truly Him and not the adversary. Because the adversary can give you a sign as well, right after he gives you a red flag, after God shows you a red flag. God will show you this person's maybe inconsistent, and then the next thing you know they text and call like continuously for the next week and you're like, oh, this is a sign because now they're becoming consistent. Like, no, it's probably the adversary trying to manipulate you to make you keep this person around because as long as they're in your life you will always be constantly going nowhere. He knows exactly what to do to distract you from your purpose, to allow you to just be manipulated, or to allow you to just feel like you want to give up because you're not getting the things that you need. You're getting what you want. And when it comes to a job, the job will look appeasing. It will look so appetizing. It will be everything you want. It'll be, you know, maybe six figures, maybe multi-millions, whatever it is that you've always aspired to have. But money can't buy your peace and your joy. Only God can give you that. And it doesn't matter how many zeros are in your bank account if you are unhappy. There is nothing joyous about working a job that drains the life out of you. There's nothing joyous about working somewhere where God isn't in it. Now, if God's in it and God's trying to build character in you to make you stronger, to have you stand up for yourself, things like that, because He wants people to see a little bit of Christ in you at your workplace, that's totally different. But understand that you need to make sure that you verify God's in it. When you are working, when you're in a relationship, when you're talking to someone, when you are friends with someone will tell you something, but you need to verify it. It's not that you don't trust that person, it's because you have to trust yourself. Because you and God are the only ones that have your back. And I'm not saying it because I'm saying that there can't be good friends out there. I'm saying that in order for you to build trust, in order for you to trust yourself, you're going to have to verify what people tell you. You're going to have to verify what people do and say and all of these things. And another thing that hit my spirit, I don't know why, but allow people the give people compassion. Like sometimes we want to jump to conclusions because we've been through something in the past. Like someone will vent to us and tell us something and we will put up this guard like, oh, I've been hurt in this area before. This person is just pulling my chain, like yanking my chain. They just want to say a bunch of stuff to manipulate me. And sometimes people are really trying to be vulnerable with you. So take a moment and really listen and be compassionate. Know that this is a human being, not just a piece of trash or a robot. This is an actual human being with feelings and emotions. So even though you've been hurt in the past, don't take your insecurity or your triggers out on that person. Allow that person to be vulnerable with you. Allow that person to actually talk to you and tell you things that is bothering them, things that they aspire to have. And don't just look at it like, oh, this is just a pipe dream. No, you really need to listen. Because if you think that you're going to be with that person and you're trying to say it's a pipe dream when it's their vision, you're not the person for them. That is not good. They can't have someone be their helpmate if you are tearing them down, if you are thinking only about yourself. And another thing, if you want something, a job or a person, and all you can think about is what you can get from the situation, and you're not thinking about how that situation will benefit that other person, that is the adversary trying to either speed you up because he wants you to destroy it, or he is trying to make you think that you need something that is only what you want. That is something that is just something that you desire to have, not something that God intended for you to have. And when you are considering being with any person as a friend or in a romantic way, really consider how other people feel. Of course, verify. Like, don't just be like, oh, okay, you ran 10,000 miles, like, or whatever. Like, okay, that's a little extreme, but you ran 10 miles. Like, if you see them huffing and puffing going up a flight of stairs, they probably didn't run 10 miles. Okay. So I'm just saying in general. And so, like, just really, if you really truly care about someone, if God tells you to wait, don't be like me and just rush into a situation because you want it then and now. Like, wait because you don't know what God's doing in that other person's life. You don't know what they're trying to do to allow them to become the person that He created them to be. You don't know what He needed to break off of you. Like, maybe you had some toxicity, maybe you had some codependency, maybe you had some insecurity, or you had something that was going on inside of you, or you had your purpose that you had to fulfill in that time. And God knows that that would become a distraction if He gives you it prematurely. So, whenever anything is happening in your life, make sure that you verify with God, because He will be able to give you what you need and not just what you want. And also, I'm laughing so hard because I had a whole like sentence in my head and then it just went away because I started thinking about the tea. But this is how I do. Like, you don't even understand. I I was talking to this person one day and we're having this conversation. They asked me a question. And in the middle of them asking me the question, why am I thinking about how, I don't know if I can say this on this video, but this is a long time ago, so it doesn't matter now. But I'm thinking about how cute this person is instead of answering the question, and then I forget what the question and then I'm like, I kind of caught part of the question, so I was like, yeah, that's what it is. And I'm like, oh my gosh, focus, Nisha. But I get like this all the time. And I really like, I know the guy was probably like, oh my gosh, I thought she was super intelligent. And now I'm thinking, but it is what it is, whatever. Like, I overthink. I have a lot of stuff on my mind. It's not because I'm not intelligent or anything else. It's just because I just have a lot going on. I'm just always constantly over analyzing things and thinking about a bunch of stuff at once. So, but it was hilarious. I know the guy was like, really? That's what it is. And I'm just like, yeah, of course. Like, but in my mind, I was just thinking like, oh my gosh, he's so cute. But yeah, anyways, that's besides the point. And so I was just going to say verify and verify because that's how you will get your validation. And also make sure that you have sound biblical scripture that is backing up your claim, your thought, your dream, whatever it is that's in your mind, so that you can have the assurance that you need to make better decisions for your life.